You weren't born to be quiet. You were trained to shrink, stay small, and to whisper your truth or bury it altogether. Because power made others uncomfortable. Expression felt dangerous, and silence felt safer. But deep in your body, there's still a voice trembling to be heard. Not just loud, but true. Not rebellious, but reclaimed. Burn the Silence is an initiation podcast journey and maybe some little mini courses for the ones who are ready to stop abandoning their voice and start anchoring in their truth. This is not about yelling, it is about remembering. From repression to expression, silence to sacred fire, and from fear to frequency. You do not have to be polished, ready. All you have to be is done hiding. Welcome back to Burn the Silence, where we strip back the spiritual fluff and psychological noise to get to the heart of what actually matters. I'm your host, Tiffiney, and today we're diving into something intimate, intense, and a little bit inconvenient. Why we actually love someone. It's not always for the reasons that we think. You might say it's chemistry or timing or fate. But what if I told you that love isn't always about the person in front of you? Sometimes it's about the part of you that awakens when they arrive. And I want to start this episode with something really raw and real. Because just this morning, I woke up with this strange ache in my gut. It wasn't a physical one, but an emotional one. A whisper of self-doubt that hit me before my feet even touched the floor. And I laid there and thought, why did my husband pick me? He had so many other options, people who were easier, who didn't ask him to choose. But time and time again, he made that choice. And not just once, over and over in moments where his own family made him feel like it was them or me. And he came back to me. And still, that ache, that wondering, that fear and awe. Because love, even when it's real, doesn't always silence the doubt. Sometimes it cracks us open even deeper. And that is why I needed to do this episode today. So let's dive into it. Let's start where most people stop, and that's psychology. Here's what we know. We don't fall in love with strangers. We fall in love with familiarity. Even if it looks different, your subconscious is always scanning for what it already knows. The energy of your caregivers, your childhood wounds, your core beliefs about worth, safety, and closeness. This is why people can feel magnetic to us, even when they are toxic. Because the nervous system isn't scanning for healthy, it's scanning for known. According to Imago theory, we are drawn to people who reflect both the love and the pain we received growing up. Why? Because the subconscious wants resolution. It wants to rewrite the ending. But here is the trap. You don't just love someone for who they are. You love them for the part of you that comes alive around them. Sometimes it's your inner child, it could be your shadow, and even your fantasies. This is why some love feels like home and some love feels like fire. and why you can't stop thinking about someone even when you know they're not good for you. It's not about logic here. It's about energetic memory. So let's zoom out of the psyche and look to our soul maps, and aka your birth chart. Astrology tells us not just how we love, but why, when, and who we love. The main players in love astrology are your Venus, Moon, 7th house, and 8th house. So Venus is what you desire and how you give love. Your Moon, what makes you feel emotionally safe and held. And your 7th house is what you seek in partnership. And 8th house is all about who you merge with and who changes you. When someone touches these areas in your chart, especially with tight aspects, it can feel like the universe set it up. Let me give you an example of my own chart. I have Venus, Sun, and Moon in Virgo and Libra in the 8th house. That means I don't just want affection. I want depth, discernment, and devotion. I want someone who can handle my emotional x-rays and meet me there without flinching. Love, for me, is a portal, a ritual, a return to the part of me that I have disowned. Maybe your Venus is in Gemini. You might fall for the person who stimulates your mind and keeps you guessing. Or maybe your Moon is in Cancer. You might love the one who feels like emotional sanctuaries. But here's the kicker. Love is not always compatible. It's activating. Hard aspects like Venus square Pluto or Mars opposite Moon can feel chaotic, obsessive, or fated. That's because they trigger karma, contracts, the real work. So if you've ever asked, why do I love them even though they drive me insane? Check your charts. The chart does not lie. So then we get into the body. This is the place where it all lives. Somatically, love is not just a feeling, it's actually a state. Your nervous system is constantly assessing, is this person safe? You know you love someone, or think you do, when your breath deepens around them, your body softens, maybe your heart races a little, but not out of a fear. But here's that trap. If you've experienced trauma, your nervous system might confuse intensity with intimacy. That heart racing, skin tingling sensation, sometimes it's not chemistry. Sometimes it's actually an alarm. Sometimes your body is saying, I remember this. Not because it's safe, but because it's familiar. Real love, regulated love, feels like coming home. It's not fireworks every day. It's nervous system exhale. But we don't always choose that, especially if what we knew growing up was chaos. That's why love isn't just about who you're drawn to. It's about what your body believes love is supposed to feel like. So, why do we actually love someone? Because they mirror us, because they trigger us, because they activate the part of us that needs to be seen, healed, challenged, or awakened. Love isn't just a fairy tale. It's a recognition, a return, and a reckoning. And when love is real, not performative, not addictive, not familiar chaos, it feels like truth, which is not perfection, but presence, not escape, but expansion. And not fantasy, but a frequency. And I want to thank you so much for sitting with me in this. If this cracked something open, send it to a friend who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to decode your love style, I offer soul mirror sessions to do exactly that through your chart, your past, and your nervous system. Until next time, love wisely and wildly. You made it. Not just through this podcast, but through the fire of your own silence. You are not just speaking, you're reclaiming a part of yourself that was waiting to be heard. So let this be your proof. You don't need permission. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to be present with your truth, your voice, and your power. You are initiating new frequencies every day. One that doesn't shrink, doesn't self-abandon, and knows expression is a sacred act. So if your voice shakes, let it. If your truth burns, let it. Because this isn't the end. It's your initiation. Burn clean, holy, and loud. And if you're ready to go deeper, to understand the soul patterns behind your silence and fully embody the voice you've reclaimed, I invite you to book a soul mirror session where we will explore your astrology, your nervous system, and the sacred contracts your voice came here to fulfill. And if you're craving sacred community as you rewire your expression, I've been building the Sacred Dark Society. And this is a space where wild, wise, and the wordless parts of you are welcome. You're not just finding your voice, you're remembering your power. And we are just getting started.